Put the clapper in front of your face. When you clap, you're on the air.
Welcome to Talking Peace with the Western New York Peace Center, recorded here at Think Twice Radio in the home of the future. Thanks to Richard Wicca. So thanks, Richard. Richard is our producer, and I'm the host and actually co-hosting today. So I'm Vicki Ross. I'm the executive director at the Western New York Peace Center, and I'm very happy that Jillian Hainsworth, who was just on the last Talking Peace show, is co-hosting with me. Thank you, Jillian. So Jillian,
thank you for having me.
Poet Jillian Hainsworth. So, and we're very excited to be here with people at the Little Africa Culture Club. So I think I see Lonnie. Oh, I should have said, Lonnie, if you all can find a way of putting more light on your faces, that would be good, unless we want to do a silhouette show. So I just thought of that. I should have mentioned it before. But there you go. We're getting it going in the right direction. Good. So Lonnie Barlow. Lonnie is also part of Roc Da Mic, and we've done plenty of peace jamming together and everything else. Hi, Lonnie. Good to see you. And so now Jillian and I should have said Jillian also is with Open Buffalo and she's the director of leadership development at Open Buffalo, but doing all kinds of wonderful things with poetry. But for this hour, we're really going to talk, we'll talk about, I guess, spoken word comes in there a lot, but especially about music, because we're really focusing on how the arts uphold the movement. And I want to say the Little Africa Culture Club is a very good example of that. Wouldn't you say? So hi, Lonnie. What would you say about that?
Oh, looks like you're muted.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
And so to go back a little bit.
Sure, please.
Africa Culture Club started as a movement.
Say about that.
Started in about 2014, 2015 at Sowing Soul Studios.
Okay.
As providing a place for artists to perform.
Right.
So Buffalo being like a rapidly gentrifying city, there's people getting priced out of performance spaces. We provided a space for, we can probably do like a whole show on that, for young artists, culture creators and things like that to perform and do things like that.
Sure.
And so, Sowing Soul.
Mute yourself again.
Yeah, you went back. You went on to mute or something. Maybe it was a freeze, but maybe it was mute. Yeah.
No, it was a freeze. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
All right.
So
All
you're
right.
saying from
So-
Sowing Souls in 2015 and things started percolating.
Right. As a space for artists in Buffalo, which is slowly and now rapidly gentrifying. Mm-hmm. And so to do a show, right, to do something for 75, 100, 200 people, it's becoming rapidly unsustainable. And I think that started as like a part of our movement, giving artists, young artists, medium artists, places to perform and do their art. Right. And so I don't. We can do a whole show about it, but that's basically the mission. That's one of the main missions of the organization, is to provide a space for artists in Buffalo,
right,
West New York. Underground artists to do their art, to create and do things like that, and to make it sustainable and affordable for them.
Right. Well, I can vouch for how much fun it can be. We've done all kinds of very fun things at Little Africa Culture Club, including, actually, I was talking about the Women's March. That's our most recent thing that we did together at the Little Africa Culture Club. But also all kinds of evenings, and I've seen all kinds of performances there. Or been, some part of some jam sessions too, which have been very much fun. But
So, one of the main things we do is just provide regular programming for people to do things. Like I said, in 2015, when it was Sewing Soul Studios,
right.
we started something called the Final Friday All Artists Party, and it was basically like a unplugged type of thing with a band, people rapping, doing poetry, and it kind of grew out of that. It kind of built like a whole movement of different side movements, side events, artists coming through, developing themselves. Kind of what we did. That wasn't the only thing, but that was the most consistent thing that we did to kind of get the ball rolling in Buffalo and the arts movement. The Roc Da Mic movement, which started about a year before that at the Foundry.
Right.
The Foundry is located on the side. Same type of situation, but the Roc Da Mic thing was more for kids, for family, whereas the Final Friday party event was more towards like a party thing. Right. And it kind of built out of there, different artists doing their own thing, building off of that, and being able to do things that kind of like compound to the movement.
Right. Right. So why don't you now? I know you. We went through this before when you first came on, introducing some of the people who are there with you right now, other artists and other.
Copy.
Yeah.
All right. So, who wants to come first? Who wants to talk? Rashad, Effects, Rhyme, and Reasons. He's going to talk about Breaking the Gap movement.
Sure. So Rashad. Yeah.
Hi. How you doing?
Hi. Good. So why don't you tell us a little bit? How did you, sort of what do you do, and how did you find a home at Little Africa Culture Club?
Well, Little Africa Culture Club is basically like it's a home base for artists. Us poets. I'm a poet, but I came up with an idea not too long ago, a couple years ago, called Bridging the Gap. I wanted to bring together poets and hip hop artists. What I really wanted to do is I wanted people with a small little fan base to trade fans. I really want to do it. So basically, it took off as far as events go. I did 1, 2, 3 events, and then I was scheduled to do the 4th one, and COVID hit. So we lost our venues. We're always relying on a place to do our shows.
Sure, right.
It's always been like a home base for all of us. We can all come here. We have our vibe sessions, our jam sessions, our meetings. It's a place for us to just come together and do what we do. As far as poetry, hip hop, singers, it's always been a great place for us to unite. It's a community.
Well, it's great to have you meeting Jillian, because Jillian is our budding poet laureate, I think.
I'm very familiar with Jillian.
Okay. So
we know each other.
Good. Well, that is good. That's what I like to hear, because that means things are.
Jillian's best kept secret right now.
Synergy is happening. The synergy is happening. We're building them. We're uniting the struggles. We're building the movement. Yeah.
I came to Little Africa by way of Louis Lafrance. He was the photographer for my first show, and after that, he introduced me to Lonnie. And ever since I met Lonnie, I met everybody else here, and it's been my home away from home.
Sure, great.
Okay,
it's nice to see you. It's really nice to see you.
How have you been dealing with everything?
I've been pivoting. That's all we can do, right? You just adjust, get creative, and figure out different ways to use our platforms. That's all I've been doing, trying to figure out how do I keep growing it? How do I make good business decisions for my art, in light of everything, but just, adjusting and getting creative. That's really it.
Well,
how about you?
I think it was a fart. The thing that with the whole COVID thing and us not being able to do shows and generate an audience, I think it's been really hard for all of us performers.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've taken the hardest hit. And now it's like, well, how do we do now? Are we all going to start doing our stuff online? Is this going to be our new normal? Are we not going to be able to get on stages anymore? So now we're all sitting here questioning, like, what's the next move?
Yeah. You know, I hope we get back on stage
I
because
know, right?
I'm not with the online thing.
Me either.
People need to be together. I mean, that is something that's so important, and that's one of the reasons why people are having such a hard time lately, because it's just people need people. No question. You know, we just need that. You know, we need to hug. We need to connect. We need to be in the company of. You know, we need to have that time. And so it's hard for people. So I think the more we can find our ways, when we can. So whether it's masks and social distancing or different things on Zoom, and just biding our time while things move ahead. And the vaccines are there, the things are working themselves out, that hopefully soon, hopefully before too long, we'll be able to get together more.
Very true. Very true.
Anyway, well, thanks, Rashad. So I'm glad you two know each other. That's very not surprising, but always very reassuring when people are connected. When we're connecting.
That's the beautiful thing about Buffalo is that our community is small enough that all the cool artists they know each other. We all run in the same circles from time to time.
Right. Sure.
I want to introduce Louis.
Please.
I want to introduce Louis from LaFron Graphics.
Great.
He's the reason I'm here, actually.
Great. Hi, Louis.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. It's good to have you here. Great to meet you. Louis LaFron. So I want to tell you, my brothers, and my nephew's name is all Franz, with a Z on the end. But it's that Fran. And actually I know one person was calling my brother Franny. So that's so cool. I love that, LaFron. I'm going to start calling my brother that.
Wait, I got a patent. Wait, I got a patent. You can't do that.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind that. So anyway, Louis, tell us, what do you do with your graphics, and how do you make your art?
Well, I went to school for visual communication. So basically what I do is I have a multimedia business where I do videography, graphic design, photography, just any forms of. I also do networking. I bring people together. As Rashad said, I introduced him to Lonnie. Mm-hmm. I'm dealing with a few people in Atlanta, label called YSL, also a manager named OG Hoodrich. So it's just different opportunities that I bring to the city and I bring to everyone that's around me.
Mm-hmm. So are you from Buffalo, or?
I was born in Buffalo, but I was raised in Brooklyn.
And now, are you living here now, or you're just, back and forth? What?
Oh, I travel. So
right.
I live here in Buffalo, New York, but I travel to Florida. I travel to Atlanta. I travel to California. Mm-hmm. Basically, I travel worldwide. Not worldwide. I'm sorry, I'm not that big yet. Hold on, let's get there. Yeah. But I travel all around the United States, and I try and connect as many people as I can.
Great. You could be a social worker. I mean, social workers do a lot of connecting. We're always connecting. Yes.
I would love to be.
Well, it's all, you're working with people. It's all social work, and it's sort of like.
I think I'll be the first social worker that's not as social.
It's all about, actually being a social worker is about being a change agent. So if you want to think about you might be interested, you might think, I think you're about being a change agent, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his art is already changing things, Vicky.
Sure.
He's a change agent.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And, we need innovative change agents. We need people who can step into untapped industries and industries that's not tapped by Black people.
Right.
To be real, right? And to actually represent us. So it's definitely cool to know that you're bouncing around, the nation and creating images for people, connecting people. That's really dope. I like it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Jillian. Thank you. special.
Well, thank you, Julie.
Thank you as well.
Thank you for what you're doing.
The next person that we're gonna bring in is Jason.
Sure.
And here.
Thanks. Thanks, Louie. So, Jason.
Hey,
Hey, Jason. It's good to
How's it
see
going?
you.
Good to see you.
So tell us again a little bit about what you do and the art you bring to the movement.
It's funny you say the art I bring because I'm not an artist, but I tend this is my organization. Part of what we do is that we try to help create a network for artists, right? It's a venue space, networking with other artists, knowing about other events, or letting people kind of also know just things that are happening in the city that they may not necessarily be tapped into.
Right.
So it's kind of like I bring the artists to you or the artists together.
Wow. Great. That is so, back to that. That is such a big part of what's needed. And that is every bit as critical as doing it is helping people to get tuned in, turned on, knowing about it and bringing, that synergy, what we were talking about.
Yes. Dope started in 2015 by a good friend of mine, Anil, Kari Waits, Jamia, Mutri, and Obsidian. And when it started, it was out of the need for the lack of specific spaces that exist in Buffalo, especially for a lot of us who grew up on the east side. How it's just like growing up, you had places like the Langston Hughes Center. These different events and places where you can go to. There's not enough spaces.
Right.
A lot of our space is in other spaces a lot of our spaces were either hyper-censored or in other spaces that may not have been considered safe spaces for all of us who identify as different identities within the African diaspora, within the Black community. So we created a space where it was a space that encompassed several different identities in the sense of just, it is people of color centered, but it's also Black centered. But it also comes to the identity of people who are differently abled, who are of different gender identities, different mental health issues, physical abilities, mental disabilities.
Right.
Like when we do shows, we try to be mostly mindful to have shows in places that are wheelchair accessible. If they're not, we tell people.
I want to say, I really appreciate that. My sister was in a wheelchair all her life. And I want to say, by the way, as a white person, which you won't be surprised that she's a white person, but she was really in the communities, more in the Black community, more in the gay or LGBTQIA community, more accepted because of the very things that you're talking about. Because when people, are more accepting of other people, especially people who are oppressed in any kind of a way, it was very obvious to me how important that was in her life. It was very big. And so I really appreciate that. I think that's so important and so natural the way it happens. So wonderful the way it happens.
Yeah.
So do you do I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just pretty much going to say, it's just like pretty much what you're just saying, we're trying to cultivate. We pretty much try to cultivate safe spaces, and depending on just how, I guess our funds are at the time, if we're able to have showcases where we pay artists, we seek out artists that we know we can afford. Because a lot of artists, they get paid for exposure, and it's just like if we are able to, we try to make sure people don't just get exposed, but they actually get respected for their art.
Sure.
And if not, we're pretty honest with what we're doing, and we just see how things work out from when it comes to events. We try to pretty much work with people within our communities, and they're very, I guess, as honest as, I don't say honest as we can be, we're lying, but honest in the sense of as much as we try to understand what we're dealing with, and who we're dealing with in our community, we try to reach an actual mutual understanding. Like we're trying to make not just relate, like not just them as a client, so to speak, because they're not clients, but we're just respecting someone who's an artist who's coming to us, actually giving us their talent and actually wants to know if they'll be able to have the talent reciprocated in a way that it actually should be or what it is.
Right. So important. Giving people their due, really respecting the people and appreciating the art that they're offering. And which includes getting paid, and getting, as well as getting appreciated, getting known, getting all those different aspects are all part of the whole, of making it whole. We were talking about wholeness before, actually, that integrity of being frank with people and then helping to promote them in a way that's going to, further them and the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. Congratulations on your success, and I definitely hope that more people hear about your organization and get connected with it, because I know so many people who are looking for a network like that. So it's really cool that you created and curated a space like that.
And what do you call it? What do you, if people,
Dope Collective.
The Dope Collective. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It stands for Dismantling Oppressive Patterns for Empowerment. It started in 2015. I'm not one of the founding members. But
say it again, what it stands?
Dismantling Oppressive Patterns for Empowerment.
What's the first word?
Dismantling.
Oh, dismantle. Thank you. I'm just my either it's the hearing or sometimes it's spotty on the reception thing. So dismantling oppressive
patterns for
empowerment. Wow. Yes.
Well, I was mentioned before, I wasn't a founder member because, just as you said before, the space kind of was drawn to me, and then I became a member in order to actually be a part of something, I guess, bigger than myself.
Sure.
And I really give it up to those who started it. Like I said, Jamia, Anil, Kari, and Obsidian, who really created something that I feel like it's hopefully has been considered a positive influence, opposed to, like a lot of people have said to me, at least within the city of Buffalo and within a lot of our communities. And like with this going with Little Africa, it's because we have the same mission, as I said before, and with that mission, I would like for this to actually exist for years to come, for everyone's sake.
Right. So you're collaborating. You're collaborating in that way. That is great. Yeah. Wonderful. That's so natural. It's such a synergy. Well, it's so wonderful. First of all, when I was talking with Heron and Lonnie about doing this, actually, I think, Heron, we haven't even talked about it. I talked with Lonnie and he talked with you. I know every day's a busy day. But so thank you, Jason. That is so good. And Heron, so I know this is the part I do know about, is about a little bit about the Little Africa Culture Club. And Lonnie was telling about it a little bit before, but I love to hear you talk about it as well. Is your sort of vision and where you see it at right now and where you see it going? What would you share about that? And I didn't even say that Heron is also on our co-chair of our Racial Justice Task Force and does all kinds of other things like being on the Corrections Specialist Advisory Board for the Erie County Holding Center and all kinds of ways he keeps way too busy. Besides being a dad, a wonderful dad. But go ahead. Yeah.
I'm really psyched about plans I got for Saturday with my kids because
good.
The movie theater, AMC, is going to be open just for 3 days of, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're going to get to see, I got tickets to go see Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh, wow.
So something. So let me try and say this real quick about Little Africa and stuff. Like, first off, I'll say this, that I'm a born Jamaican from the land of the sun. So I'm an immigrant. I came here to the United States in 1974, and I kind of have a different perspective you know, as an
I know.
immigrant. Yeah, my mother came here in 1971, and she worked really hard. And by 1981, 10 years later, she bought her first house. So I think Black people have struggled under negative stereotypes, and it's defined our experience here.
Right.
And I think as a Jamaican, I've had a privilege amongst us Black people of being able to draw from a positive stereotype. You know, so you know, you're Jamaican. What? You have 2 jobs? You have 3 jobs? Right? So we're known for being hustlers. And I like to fulfill stereotypes. I like to give the people what they believe when I can, you know?
Sure.
So I like to hustle. And part of the big reason I want to say this, why I came to Buffalo, besides romantic reasons, the practical thing was I was told that Buffalo was a place where there were many Africans, because the University of Buffalo made monies available to a lot of countries in Africa. So there is a significant African immigrant population here.
Right.
And I got a fellowship to study philosophy, and so I came to Buffalo, and I got a degree, and I taught at Canisius College for 18 years.
Right.
Little Africa is an opportunity to, I think, build on some of the positives of Buffalo's identity and history. The idea is to pursue a long-standing aspiration of the Black community, which is to develop unity within our community and to also develop a stronger connection with Africa.
Right.
So I think Buffalo is well placed in Black history to play a role. Like Harlem, the place I first came to this country, was known as the Black capital of the world. Harlem played a role. It brought people together. It brought Black people together to be standard bearers,
Right.
to be trendsetters,
Right.
you know? And so I think we have an opportunity to do that. I'm so glad Jason mentioned the Langston Hughes Institute, because that is a space that I think certainly is inspiring to me,
Right.
and part of what I think of when I try to think of or imagine a space that can do the kinds of things we're aspiring to do.
Right.
The Langston Hughes Institute allowed so many different kinds of things to happen, and brought so many different forms of Black excellence together. And there was a very strong emphasis in Africa. There was African drumming. There was Africana studies, you know. So what we want to do with Little Africa is have a private association built around a membership that commits themselves to 2 goals. You can think of it as a tree, because what we're interested in here is a strong Black identity. And a tree is good when it has both strong roots and healthy branches, leaves, right? Strongly rooted in land and widely integrated into the environment. Expressing itself through the growing shoots and planting itself within the earth through its roots. And so the vision is that we can have an authentic humanism, an authentic way of regarding ourselves as being all part of one vast family. But we have to first recognize our mother. We can tell a story of all of us if we can be on the same page. So there's a little bit of Africa in everybody. It is an actual trait that unites all of humanity. So the first part of being a member of Little Africa Culture Club is committing yourself to reclaiming your human roots in Africa. The second, besides being rooted, is to be expressive. We live in a world where everything is commodified.
Right.
And you get a false image of who you are. And I think through art, through culture, you get to express your authentic self. So we challenge people to fulfill their aspirations to create, to be a free spirit.
Right.
Through expressing yourself, your true self. So we want to, be committed to those two things, to finding a universal foundation and root in our story and our history in Africa. Where we can tell the story of everybody, because everybody has an African ancestor. And we can talk about how we all come together. And while we're doing that, while we're giving ourselves an authentic grounding, reach for the stars.
Right.
Be yourself.
Right.
Be yourself. I think if we're going to answer the challenges that are confronting us as a people, okay, we're going to have to repair our relationship to the earth. And I think one way we do that is by straightening out our relationship to the earth.
Right.
We come from Africa. Humanity came from Africa. That's our Garden of Eden.
Right.
We should get that straight.
Right.
The other thing is that culture comes out of Africa. There's this kind of weird competition between the first place. They talk about the Neolithic Revolution. Well, we won't go into these. Kemet is a treasure house of culture and fundamental skills and life-affirming activities in man. You had in Kemet this place where people truly embrace this idea that we are part of nature. And we have to get back to that. There's this artist from Chicago who talks about oh my God, Khalil El-Zabar. And he has this way of talking about human practices that are ancient, but that can bring us to the future. And that's the name of it, Ancient to the Future. What are those practices? What are those things that we do that feed our soul, that help us to live? Right? If we can do that, we can actually come together and solve our problems.
Right.
But if we keep fighting each other, seeking dominance one over the other,
Right.
All wrapped around an inauthentic story, a lie, constant whitewashing, right? Where we never confront who we really are. Like, we're going to walk into another civil war, right?
Right.
The United States is like repeating history so bad, we're going to go back to like the precedents of our bloodiest period of history. So I think of Little Africa as an incubator, a place where we get to focus on building ourselves and building community. And so the last thing I'll say is just throw it out. We have 7 areas of culture. And if you're a member, you have to be committed to expressing yourself in at least two of those 7 categories.
So what are those 7 categories that we have to ask?
Okay, I'll try to run through it in a quick, logical way. So 4 groups do just one show every 4 months. And that's visual arts, fashion, philosophy, history, and food. So the idea is that the first part of each month will have first a visual art show, so there'll be an installation in the gallery space.
Right.
Then we'll have a fashion show the next month.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll have a presentation on African liberation. And then we'll have a celebration of African diaspora food. So that'll happen on a 4-month cycle, and we'll keep doing it. So that's 4 of the 7 groups.
Right.
Then you have 3 more groups. You have music, dance, and comedy theater. And so we'd like to have like monthly shows for the dance and the comedy theater, and we'd like to do weekly shows for music.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the idea is to have this gallery space that is a context, a place where we can do a line of cultural programming. And so we'll try to really nourish and maintain, you know what I'm saying, an environment of creativity that also has in the background of it this emphasis in our African identity and a real attempt to be brothers and sisters in a search for better us, for a more human society, more authentic ways of relating. That's what we want to do. It's, you know, it's aspirational, it's high-minded. We've started talks with this entertainment lawyer. We're going through a process of creating a legal entity, and then we'll let the world know by starting a fundraising campaign. Our first concern is to tie up really our gallery space, because right now the space that I'm in, we're probably going to have to vacate in the not too distant future. So we'd like to address this and be ready for when COVID's done and get established in a new location.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the short of it.
Right. So let me ask, where would spoken word fit into there, or would there be more than one way?
Oh, that, you know, that could be musical performance. You know, that could come into philosophy, history. You know,
Right.
We've had poetry shows in the space. We've had, like, I think Reckon Effects was part of 2 of them, at least. So yeah, I mean, where would it fit in programmatically? I should also say that, you know, the commitment would be you have to be part of 2 of these 7 groups, and you have to help put on the framework of shows that I just articulated.
Sure.
But behind that, we also will have some other programming from the people who are members.
Sure.
So, you know, it's like Lonnie was talking about, we want to be doing an incubation
Right.
of talent and just developing people in a holistic sense. So, I'm sorry, what was the question? Where are we at?
No, well, that was just about. No, you answered it. You answered it. I was asking about spoken word, but you answered it. You know, there's different ways that it could be in, you know, multiple different ways, or even its own special ways at times. Yeah.
One of the most popular things we had was open mic karaoke. And the idea of that is that you get to do one of 2 things, either be part of a performance, open mic, or you get to perform something already recorded, karaoke. And, you know, a lot of people use that space to do poetry. That came up quite a bit, you know. So
Right.
I think one of the wonderful things we found in having the space and coming together is that if you're open, things will come.
Right.
You know, people
Absolutely.
express themselves.
Right.
And you'll be surprised and you'll be delighted. It's kind of cool the way that works, the
Right.
way the universe works like that. If you're open to beauty, beauty will come.
Right. Absolutely. Well, it's that building that safe space where people will take a risk, right? So people will try a thing and they'll bring it to
That's a
you.
huge part of it.
Right.
That's a huge part of it, Vicky.
Right.
Good vibes only.
Right.
You know,
Right.
just
Truth and love.
start positive,
Right.
stay positive, lead positive. You know.
Right. Integrity and solidarity. Right.
Yes, ma'am. You're talking my language now.
Well, you know, one thing we talked about doing, now we're getting on the, you know, we're not, you know, we don't need, but we talked about doing either if you wanted to do some music or something that you wanted to share from there. I talked with Lonnie about, I don't know if you want to do something musical or what you all might, if there's something that any of you there might want to share with us. You know.
Are you talking about like right now?
Yeah. I was talking about right now.
Are you on like a live performance right now, Vicky? Is it's like
It doesn't have to be, but it was a thought. I did present that to Lonnie. I know I did, because I always think, we need more music, but we just had some poetry, and we could always have some more. But and we certainly have a vision. I love your vision about the tree, and I just want to share, and I want to lift up. I was telling Richard last week about the ceiba tree that I had a peak experience at a ceiba tree in Cuba. When I went to Cuba, and I heard about that they have two sacred trees. One is the royal palm, and the other is the ceiba tree, Ceiba, and that they said it came from Africa. You're not allowed to cut them down, and they said that sometimes they would they would go to the ceiba tree when there was an issue, and that if people were fighting, they would sometimes even take them and tie them around the tree trunk, the one person who's fighting and the other person who's fighting them, and tie them, with the tree in between them, right? So I thought that was very interesting. So I went up when I'd been...
Shout out to my good friend Sean Clemens, whose name is DJ Seba.
Really? Well, just tell him about this, because when I went over and I hugged the ceiba tree, I had such a peak experience I cannot describe. And it was like all of life was running through that tree. And it was just like, if you ever saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, which I do not like that movie, but there's that one part at the end where they're just showing the whole of creation, just, in all these rapid pictures that they show in the black and white. Do you remember that part? It was kind of like that, except very much better. And it was just unbelievable. That tree, I mean, there's such a power. And that is a sacred tree from Africa. And in Africa, they said, and that's why I put it together with when I was in Africa, they would say that there were some tribes who would go to a tree, when they had things to figure out, issues that came up, or they're looking for guidance or for resolution.
There's a poet who might have words.
Do you want to do will you do another poetry? Another spoken word for us?
Are you guys talking about me?
I think we are, yes.
I can do something short.
Okay.
I'll do something really short. But there's a poet in that room too.
Yeah.
Just
So
throwing that
either
out
which
there.
one, or either both. I'll tell you, we have something like just a little over 10 minutes left.
I'm gonna give up the seat for a poet, and maybe he's gonna, maybe both of y'all can put something down. But give me a sec.
Yeah, I think we can let them do it.
Okay, either.
I like being
which.
the audience.
Sure.
I don't always get to be the audience.
Okay, well, when these people know, I mean the poets who know, because the poets know each other, when you meet your kindred poet, So anyway, okay, so that would be great. Rashad.
You're
You're
muted.
on mute. You're on mute. Yeah. Keep slipping back.
I'm going to open this up by saying, with the restrictions that COVID has put on us poets and us hip hop artists, singers, so on and so forth, doing shows, with the restrictions, it's been hard for me personally to write anything, especially during 2020, because I always want to give my audience a taste of the good and the bad. I want them to be left with a little optimism and hope at the end of a poem. Mm-hmm. So for me personally, to do a poem about all the tragedies that happened in 2020, it would come off sad. So I just, my mama told me, if I ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
Sure.
So that's kind of a philosophy that I've adopted in my life. Uh-huh. And with 2020, I didn't have nothing to say.
Right.
But with 2021 coming in, I decided, okay, I'm going to write something. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing that I wrote was this. And this is the only thing I've written in over a year.
Okay.
Great. I have a large catalog that I can choose from, but I would rather just stick to, what I've already have. And if you want me to, I'll do it right now.
Please. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me just go in this little docs files here.
Was somebody beatboxing or is somebody snoring?
Sounds like somebody snoring. Okay, it's called 2021. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yep. Yes, we can. Yep.
All right, so if you've been through the trenches and you've seen your share of hell, you survived all the bullshit, you tried and you fell. If you got back up every time with a story to tell, then this track is for you because we're breaking the spell. It's a new day and the universe has been listening. 2020's negativity is the results of all the morals gone missing. And I envision it's a karmic debt that had to be paid. We lost a lot of lives, now history's made. We got put on timeout and forced to behave, but we're making a comeback and we refuse to be slaves. Now our perception is optimism. Let it make a return. The loss of life, it's prepared us for the earn. Struggle and tragedy. Gradually, we make a comeback. Our back's against the ropes, but nobody wants that. The new beginning is back to winning. Our fate is not sealed. We got carried away with our bullshit, but I'm back up in the pulpit. Now time will reveal. Who want to keep swimming in the flames? It's bottomless hell. I'm avoiding all the sharks and Satan himself. I'm God's soldier with a story to tell, and my people are survivors in any land that we dwell. So now we gotta kill these hypocritical actors. EFX rhymes and reason, poet turns rapper. Matter of fact, I might be humanity's next chapter, because it's prosperity we're after. So kill the drama and bring back the laughter. And I gotta take a deep breath.
Wow.
Because we can't trust our lives, the Democrat nitwits or Republican dipshits. We don't give two shits about these political misfits. Their vision is twisted. Their agenda can't coexist with humanity's interests. Now let's get out of the shit shed because we're being misled like sheep to a slaughter and bozos being spoon-fed. You heard what I said. The 99% of us want to take the 1%'s bread, redistribute the wealth to the general population. That's my proclamation to everyone in the nation. We're on home incarceration while they stay going on vacation. These filthy rich, they've been doing too much, and we've lost touch on what's really important because they've been planning for years and most of us are snoring, and I can no longer trade my righteousness because life gets boring. The awakening, it's going to happen with or without you, so I'm putting my best foot forward and I get ready for round two. But sometimes you just got to ride the wave to see where we land, and at the end of the day there's no one man with the world in the palm of his hand, and even if you build a brand, some will stand, some will sit, some are just counterfeit, and then there's people that don't give a shit. And the reality is free will and freedom ain't free. So next time you choose a side, keep that stuff around me because there's three sides to a coin. Same goes to every story. The far left and the far right, I can't join. These extremists, they bore me. I'm riding the rim. It's the middle course. That's how I plan to win while they keep riding that horse.
Wow. Woo.
I can get three sides out of one coin. Damn.
Wow. Wow. I'm riding the rim. I am riding the rim. Wow. We
Ride the rim.
Riding the rim. Yeah.
They want us to
The three
choose a side.
sides, huh? I like that.
They want us to choose a side. Why do we have to?
No. We tap the middle path. Yeah.
The great
ride
conquerors
rim.
of all lands and all generations, their biggest strategy is divide and conquer.
Right.
That's how they keep us as peasants.
Right.
Well, we don't want to be peasants anymore.
Right. No. We're one. We are one in the spirit, after all. Right?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And that's what makes Little Africa such a powerful and a beautiful place. It's because the youth can come together. Like, I've never been here and seen any drama pop off. It's always been great vibes.
Right.
Every time I've ever been here.
Right.
It's like a family. And if we don't have the venue or the place, the space to do that, then we're going to lose a lot more souls.
No, we're going to have the place. We're going to have the space, and we're going to do it. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Jillian, you got something?
Thank you. Jillian, do you want to, can you do one more? Quickly. We have like 5 minutes left.
I don't know. Okay. I can't think of anything. All right. Guess I will do my poem that I did for the Women's March.
Sure, please. Please.
Okay.
Yes.
How did that poem start? Okay, got it. Okay. This poem is called, what is this poem called? Who's the Boss? It is a poem to shout out to the women who are bosses, So I'm going to dedicate this. Every time I do it now, I dedicate it to Lorna Hill, who's one of my biggest mentors, who passed away in 2020. Okay. You thought you made the sunrise. You thought you were the one. I had to bring you down a size, so I became the sun. Beamed on you heavy, had you sweating like a loaded gun. Reminder, I don't get told what to do by anyone. Don't need a savior, never been a damsel in distress. I am the dragon, I spit fire, only ashes left. I'm not a princess in a tower waiting, passing time. I am the monster you must slay before you take what's mine. I walk with pride because I have powers I have yet to learn. Not thought of as the head, but I can influence the head to turn. Shielded with discernment that allows me to connect the dots. And too humble to broadcast it, I am she who calls the shots. I listen with my soul, so I hear words that have not been spoken. Vision so clear that I see through doors that have not been opened or opened yet. I walk by faith, believing what I cannot see. With melanin of magic, life wreaks havoc, but my soul is free. I push the culture forward, raising generations like my child. And candy cocoa butter is what you think of when you see me smile. I carry the political weight. Never too much on my plate. Can't starve on mediocrity. Too busy getting full on great and greatness that seeps out my pores. I always win, no need for scores. Methodic and intentional. If you need help, ask the girls. See, girls be more than run the world. We're the axis on which it turns, the moon that makes the waters rise, the sun that causes land to burn. We hold down every fort, even the ones we did not build. We reach deep down inside ourselves, finding love so pure and real, a love that makes all sorrows heal. Replaces them with triumph. And we conquer every jungle with more reverence than a lion. See, each great man in history had a woman right beside him, orchestrating social change, no need to get behind him. And if she did, her back was to his, so nobody could slide him. And she never miss a beat. Don't need the blueprints when you write them. We speak up for everyone, even those who don't speak up for us. And we fight, throwing left and right until we've had enough. We can't be broken. Some don't get that, and they keep on trying us. Not realizing every blow just makes us much more tough. We edify each other like only women can. And we're quick to get to work. We're not afraid of dirty hands. See, we are everything, and we don't always see. But a lion doesn't need a mirror to just know how to be. It is ingrained in us, the missing link God took time to create. And we'll never face a challenge that we can't annihilate. See, in society, we may be the ones they like to cross, but we'll handle that like everything else. So tell me, who's the boss?
Woo! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gillian, you got it all
Wow.
screwed.
Wow.
Wow.
That's our poet laureate. That is our poet laureate. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Well, I want to
That was
say,
amazing.
what a way to have this show. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, I want to just, so we just have time to really close out. So any final words from both of you or all of you just before, we got 5 minutes before. So Heron.
Words.
Heron.
Wow, Jillian. Wow, Jillian. No wonder your first name's Poet. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think I like the rendering of Africa. Afreeka. Africa. Ka being spirit. Africa.
Right. Ka. Right. Of course.
So-
I never got that. Wow.
So yeah, we want to get there. We want to get to some deeper freedom.
Yeah.
Well,
I like that.
Ashe, thank you. We'll go philosophy. We need the philosophy to bring it to be a free ka. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much from Little Africa. And Jillian, we'll give you the final word.
Yeah, I just I hope everyone has a good 2021. I know 2020 was hard. There are a lot of issues in our community. They are very intersectional. They are all related. They're all connected. Take all of them personally.
On that.
Take every single one personally. Every issue is your issue, because if we don't solve everybody's injustice, then we can't solve anybody's. So that's what we're here for. And I'm looking forward to getting back in spaces with everybody in person and really making more magic happen.
That's what we're gonna do. So Jillian, Heron, Louie, Rashad, Lonnie. Who else is there? Wait, and wait. Oh, and
Mr. Gardner.
right. Jason. So thank you all so much. So we have been talking peace. And together we are talking peace in truth and love. Thank you so much. What a great show. What a great time to be with you all as virtually in virtual love and everything else. And we'll actually get together when we can get together. We'll get together. We're all together.
All right.
Okay.
It's nice seeing y'all.
Peace and love. Thank you all.
Yes.
Thanks, Jillian. Thank you all. Thank you. Take care. Big hugs and love to everyone. Bye for now.